don't even know. Is the goddamn microphone working? Mudbutt Jones. Even if I don't paint anything, because I'm just feeling like total fucking hell. I figure we at least laugh. I mean, we're going back and forth memes and everything else. Might as well, right? Especially since I've got a break in between eruptions. I had to like set everything up and the whole 9 yards. Yeah, David texted me or whatever, or messaged me, and I was like dead asleep, and I was like, oh, like, and grabbed my phone. He's like, yeah, they're like, where the hell are you? I'm like, what do you? Oh yeah, shit. God damn. Yeah, I was gonna do good old Rick Sanchez here. I figured it would have been appropriate tonight, and I was gonna do Shyman or whatever, but Shaman, whatever, one of the fucking Pokemon. But instead, yeah, you get to look at my sexy rock star can. But yeah, 110%. David, David always gets a hold of me. Little bastard has been with me for a long time. Hopefully, I don't sound too much like hammered shit or a can of crushed assholes. But what else is going on? I mean, I've been watching this craziness with the California wildfires. Just fucking insanity. Complete insanity. Complete incompetence. And if you had told me that Gavin Newsom was going to be, running for president in 2028, I would have agreed with you 110% up until this shit happened. I think this just put a nail in him, especially since all the news channels are showing Donald Trump in 2018 telling him, look, you need to partner up with fucking Finland and talk to their Department of Forestry and find out how they're doing things so this doesn't happen again. And him standing next to Donald Trump and agreeing with him. Thank you, sure, I appreciate you. Greatest mod on the internet's right there. And greatest Discord mod is fucking David Mon. God damn it. What? Your Fortnite account got hacked? You had all them like classic ancient old ass skins. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, because of to Sheree's point, he's cooked and done, like legitimately. Like he was standing there, he's like, "How dare Donald Trump politicize this?" It's like, yo, how dare you fucking burn your city to the earth? What's up, sick? Six, six, six. I mean, it's fucking crazy. Like I said, that was the guy that I saw them running in 2028. It was going to be him versus JD Vance, probably, especially if Trump does a good job while he's in there. And then you had the fucking craziness, absolute craziness of the oh god, what's his name? Jimmy Carter. I don't know if you guys saw the video from the funeral, but Trump and Obama are like chilling together, and they're like talking back and forth, laughing and joking. And a row up from them, sitting in a row by her, well, not really by herself, it's her and her husband, Doug Emhoff, is Kamala Harris. And like while Trump and Obama are joking back and forth, Paris is like glancing back at him and then like has to check her fucking program or whatever. Like, but the look on her face was nobody wants to talk to me. Nobody wants shit to do with me. It's hysterical. Yeah, it's not just that. Like Trump and Obama look like they're actually having a pretty good conversation, having fun. Yeah, that's just it. Like somebody asked me, I can't remember who the hell I was talking to. I was talking to somebody. I want to say it was Bubba. And he said, "Do you think they'll run Kamala in 2028 because Newsom's, like I was like, yeah, Newsom's done." He's like, "You think they're going to run Kamala again?" I was like, "No." I was like, "I think she is fucking done because she blew through almost $2 billion or something, went into debt, and like still got her ass fucking kicked. Like that game is over. Like that ship sailed. Any idea that she had that she was going to be something is done. Just totally fucking done." And I hope I feel better soon, like David's dad did when he left. Oh my god. Yeah, the whole thing is just goddamn crazy. I'm sitting here, I'm debating because I got him sitting here. Should I just paint his ass? Peace among worlds, huh? Michelle Obama? I don't know. That is a very good question because she was definitely not there. But Hillary and Bill were there. Um, W and his wife were there. Mike Pence was there with his wife. Obama, Trump. Was Biden there? What, you know what? Now I'm thinking about it. Was fucking Biden even there? Fuck it. Let's get some white on him. Let's start painting his ass. Like, yeah, Biden was there the same way Jimmy Carter was there. They're both fucking dead. Half dead motherfuckers. Actually, that's not fair. Jimmy Carter was actually a good man, even though he was a bad president. He's actually like, he's got, it's crazy because as a president, he was terrible, but it was because he was too good of a man. Like, he just was. I guess you got to be at least a partially shitty person in order to be president of the United States and be a good one at it or have any kind of consequence to you. Yeah, the Pence Trump fucking handshake. The whole thing is Mike Pence, like, all right, so I'm gonna say most people in here are older, and like me. If not, you're younger, like David or whatever. But you're still kind of clued into things. You're paying attention to what's going on in the world. And Mike Pence, like, there was no way if he ran, like, say the Republicans had gone, okay, we're going to Mike Pence. Like, Trump didn't run, right? And it was Mike Pence. The Republicans would have gotten shellacked because, like, he's just a weird fucking dude. Like, he thinks you can shock the gay out of people. Like, he's literally for shocking the gay out of people. Like, I think he thinks gay people are infested with demons or something. Like he's a fucking weird dude. Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. I could be a shitty president too. Oh fuck. Yeah, like that's just it. Like, I know when Trump ran the first time, he honestly, the more you look at it, you realize, like, one, he was shocked that he won. He wasn't expecting to win. And two, they saddled him with the shittiest people they could find. Like, oh no, we're keeping control on you, buddy. And that shit keeps playing out like over and over again. And Pence is one of those things where it was like, we're going to give you Mike Pence. He's a good man and he's a hardcore Christian and all this. And Trump was just like, okay, I'll take him. Okay, let's go with it. We'll rock and roll this shit, like I might as well. I'm gonna lose anyway. And then he fucking won. And he was like, well, all right. And then you know, it is what it is from there. It's just Hillary was that hated. People hated Hillary Clinton. This brush is this brush is fucked up. But yeah, it just I don't fucking know, man. Like you got the wildfires in California. Um TikTok, I think it was who the fuck is that goofy ass Canadian dude that's on like Shark Tank or whatever, Kevin O'Leary, I think his name is. He's talking about he has an investment group that's probably going to buy TikTok. And I'm like, well, that's something. Hey, what's up, Danny? I was just pooping out for a bit. That's why I didn't get on till fucking super late. Like, I was actually like out cold trying to sleep the shit off. God damn it. My nose is running and everything. Maybe I don't have food poisoning. Maybe I just got a fucking flu or something, which is not good. God damn it. Oh, my goodness. Um, Here's a little off politics thought I had. I'm thinking about doing like videos, but like videos where I'm actually reading classic books or classic stories from classic authors. Yeah, I thought I had food poisoning because I've been Mount Vesuvius out my butt, um, and not really puking hard, but I don't really puke that much. I think I lost that reflex to puke from drinking so much when I was younger, like from being a fucking drunk and keeping the alcohol down. So I don't really vomit that much, but man, I've been like, oh, it is that scene from Dumb and Dumber where he's grabbing the toilet and like, oh, god damn it. Um, but yeah, like I was thinking about this earlier. How many people in here have actually read something like classics, like old school shit, like War of the Worlds, or The Time Machine by like all you? Granted, these are all H.G. Wells stories, but he's like one of my favorites. But if so, and you've read those, have you ever read the H.G. Wells story, The Star, or The Egg, or any of these? Yeah, yeah, food poisoning. It felt like food poisoning, but the more I'm sniffling and coughing and sneezing, I might actually just have a cold or a flu. I can tell you what it isn't. It isn't the COVID, and it's not because I'm vaccinated. It's because that bullshit will not fuck with me because I'm a smoker. I swear to God. You've never read any of his work, Shirai? So like that's just it. A lot of people have seen the movies for like especially like War of the Worlds. I think they've made like ad nauseum. The Time Machine, I know they did like a 1950s or 60s movie, which was pretty close to the story, not entirely. Um, because it doesn't like it's not as it's not as crazy as as the movie depicts it, where like he goes in there and saves the girl and all that stuff. But it's pretty close. Then you have the Isle of Doctor Moreau. H.G. Wells wrote. H.G. Wells was actually he was a mathematician, so his stuff is pretty interesting. Jules Verne, like his like Journey to the Center of the Earth, and God, what is it with Nemo? The Nautilus. What the fuck is the name of that? 20,000 Leagues Beneath the Sea or Under the Sea. He like the story's all right, but he was more into oceanography and stuff like that. So he really goes into detail on the different like fish and shit they could encounter. They're not books per se, Paul. Like the Egg, the New Star. There's one. It's pretty awesome where this guy basically the power of his imagination actually works. Like he gets, or no, it's like he gets wishes, and like he's drunk when he gets the wishes, and it's fucking hysterical. So Tolkien is, like Tolkien was a linguist, really ingenious with languages and all that stuff. And his stuff is really cool because you have this full built out world with each of his tales. C.S. Lewis, I didn't know this because Lion Witch the Wardrobe, it's all Christ allegories and stuff like that in his books. And I didn't know this up until recently. Apparently, C.S. Lewis started out his whole thing trying to disprove the Bible. Like he tried to disprove the Bible and disprove that Christ and all that, and then ended up becoming a hardcore Christian because he realized like the Bible was real. Apparently, I didn't know all that. Like it's kind of an interesting story. I guess it might be one worth looking into. But yeah, you've also got like old Ray Bradbury tales, like with some of his books, like Golden Apples of the Sun, stuff like that. But I was thinking about it and I was like, I could do kid friendly videos that it's just basically like me reading a fucking book, I guess, for people that are either like, I'm never going to pick this book up, but I will listen to somebody read the book to me, or, something like that. So people, because just like when I first started this whole fucking channel, the point was to tell stories from when I was a kid and all this, so we didn't lose those tales. Like as I get older, I forget things, and it's going to get worse. Yeah, that's just the nature of the game, and I really want to preserve some of those tales because they were just funny stories. Well, I'm glad you're clean now. My pipes ain't clean. I still feel like I got rotor rooter running through my guts. But yeah, I mean, I know Tolkien and C.S. Lewis. Apparently, Tolkien. I can't remember. I think it was C.S. Lewis sent Tolkien. I think that's what it was. It was like C.S. Lewis sent Tolkien a a draft of like the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and Tolkien was like, "I hate it." God damn, Mister, I haven't heard that fucking since Naked Gun, the original Naked Gun. Leslie Nielsen says that to what's her name, Priscilla Presley. So like you're like Drano. You clean me out, you clean out my soul, but you leave man hollow inside. Oh, yeah, like I don't know. It just dumb shit that I was thinking about doing though. But I figure, because Sheree actually what kind of inspired it a little bit was Sheree saying that she drives and she'll listen to the show or whatever, and she's like, I want to comment but can't. Well, if I'm just telling a fucking story and you're bored and you turn that shit on, who knows? Maybe it'll get views. Maybe there's some kid out there who has to do like a book report on H.G. Wells and needs a cheat sheet and doesn't feel like reading the fucking thing or can't read the thing because they're illiterate. Nice, Beaver. I just had it stuff. But yeah, it definitely, definitely something like H.G. Wells. I do think is my one of my favorite science fiction writers. Another one that I'd probably do would be, and I'd have to break it into fucking parts. But Douglas Adams, so that's the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe series. Is his shit is fucking hysterical. Really, Christopher Lee actually had met Tolkien. That is kind of interesting. I I had a buddy when they were doing the Two Towers who actually went to New Zealand and was there for the rap party. That was back when I was working at fucking Blockbuster. Um, and he paid a couple grand to go there and all this because he was the guy that we actually ordered our videos through, like our DVDs and all that stuff. And he said that like, oh God, what the hell's the chick's name? Liv Tyler was he he was like she was very nice. He's like, but she is a very large woman. He's like, you don't realize how big she is, like on the screen. She's actually very big. He said, oh God, what's his name? Dude who played Gandalf, Ian McKellen. Is that his name? Was because he's gay in real life. Was like running around hitting on like all these younger guys. He's like, it was cool. He's like, Vigo Mortensen was kind of like quiet, kept to himself. Token. Yeah, I mean, I don't even care if they're like, I don't know. You guys know how I am with this monetization shit. Like, I'm just like, well, if I get it, I get it. I don't, I don't. I'd love to hit 500 subscribers. Love to have more people watching videos that I make, stuff like that. That's cool. Won't ever grift money off anybody or don't send super chats because I'm going to read your shit anyway. I mean, if there's a way I give automatic memberships, I would just hook everybody up, basically. But I also I look at it this way: when you're older, it's kind of like good music that's gone bye bye. Like you ask a kid nowadays, "Hey, give me your favorite Deep Purple song," and they're like, "Who's Deep Purple? Is that like a new rapper or what? What are we talking about here?" You kind of just roll your eyes and like, what the fuck? How do you not know this music, this iconic music that I grew up with? Um, I mean, now I'm not gonna lie. Legitimately, one of the hopes for the future is because of David Mon. Actually, out of everybody, because David is a younger dude, and any song I've given him to listen to, because he's really into music, he fucking like he ends up studying it. Like I told him I was like one of my favorite guitar solos of all time is Stranglehold by Ted Nugent. and he listened to it and he was like, "Yeah, that shit's banging." Like he liked it. So there is actually hope. Sounds like a real Boromir. But that's just it. Like some of our culture, we need to pass on to younger generations, and hell, even just older people, stuff that maybe we haven't experienced. And I'm not talking about experiences like that time that Mister took me to the Turkish bathhouse. Like like you ever been in a men's locker room, Johnny? You ever been to a Turkish bathhouse? Dear Lord, I don't know what was going. Like, I'll tell you this much too. I really did. God, I'm fucking this thing all up. Like my hand is unsteady and shaky, shaky as fuck. Like, look at this. That's just me just holding my hand still. It's fucking terrible. This is gonna be like I should just stop painting and just talk shit. So this is gonna come out terrible. Um, yeah, dropping in ABL last night. I had a lot of fun. I can't lie about it at all. I just need base gray on his hair too, or base white rather, so that the blue pops. Um, but yeah, dropping in, it was funny as hell just listening to like some of the calls and stuff like that. Like Danny actually had a good call, and I was like, "You son of a bitch!" Whenever you like call into my show, it's always like you're talking about two dogs fucking on the side of the road or something. Calling to ABL, and you get into some deep philosophical shit. I'm like, I must not inspire that stuff out of you. What the fuck? And I'm still trying to figure out how F&A Ranger Xbox calls in. Like, is he calling in from a tent on the side of the road? Like, what's going on with this guy? Because I thought he was losing his house, but he always has time to call in or jump in the chat and go. Fun fact: Rockefellers used to bang the Obamas, and the Obamas used to bang the Bushes, and they're related in some way, shape, or fortune that I learned about in the military when I was working on helicopters. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've been calling in. It cracked me up because he's like, I thought that Trump got elected to, what did he say? Trump got elected to drop prices. How come he's talking about taking over Panama and all this other shit? And it's like, I'm typing in the chat, like, yo, you idiot. He said it right off the rip. How am I going to lower prices? Drill, baby, drill. Like, that was his whole big goddamn thing. It has been his whole thing. He's been saying it all along. And I'm thinking to myself, like, Ivan, you're going to bitch about Trump? How about Joe Biden, who raised all the fucking prices, you re? Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong, Sheree. But it's just, it cracks me up. And ABL, like the look on his face with some of the callers last night, he was like, what the fuck have I got myself into? Like it seemed like he was more reading the comments at one point than he was actually listening to the person on the phone. Like, what are we doing here? My lighting is all fucked up, everything. Yeah, that the one illegal chick, I don't know if she had smoked crack before she called or what, but her like her entire ghetto shtick, and that's how she put it too. We all ghetto. That's what she said. So I'm not being a dick or racist or anything. She literally said it that way. We in the ghetto, we going to do this. And then she started talking with a Jamaican accent, which is cool if she's actually Jamaican. I think that's what she said. And it was like, I'm just thinking to myself, yo, Miss Cleo, fucking either read my fortune or get off the phone. Like, what are we doing here? Like, well, my mom's afraid because she's illegal and da 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 da. Well, good. She should be afraid. What the fuck? She's had all this time. Why didn't she just apply for asylum after she was here? Like, even if she came in illegally, they wouldn't have sent her to the back of the line. They'd have just been like, okay, you're cool. Like, she could have just done that shit during the entire last 4 years. And they'd have been like, oh, you're already in America. You're already established. You know what? We're just going to let you stay right here and you're good to go. But no, you wanted to stay illegal. You wanted to play the fucking system. Well, get the fuck out. How about that? Lesson learned. You fucked around. You found out. Get out. But yeah, she really did. That is a good point, Sheree. She really did fucking get on my nerves after about 3 minutes. Because she reminded me of this customer once. I know this is going to sound bad when I say it this way, but I was working I was running the GameStop on the edge of Camden, and this chick came in, and she must have been about 350 pounds, probably about 5'7", 5'8", with 5 kids, varying in ages, a year, maybe year and a half apart. She comes in, she's talking on whatever the latest version of the iPhone was. Got out of an Escalade that was a lot newer than my damn car. Comes into the fucking store. Her kids fucking went ham and just tore apart all the walls in the store, grabbing every fucking game they could. Every GTA was up on my counter the whole 9 yards. I gave her the total, and she's still talking on the phone, and whoever is just completely ignoring her kids. And whoever she was talking on the phone to, when I gave her the total, it was like $150 total or something. And she's like, she tells the person on the other end of the phone, damn, I'm going to have another kid to afford their video games. And then grabbed her shit and went out and hopped into the bucket. And she tried to pay with EBT, like at first. And I'm like, yo, we don't take EBT. What the fuck are we doing here? This is video games. Like, you're shitting me, right? Like, I was just like, I was blown away. Like, but the fact she was like, I got to have another kid so that I can afford their video games. I'm like, yo, you're living off government teat and riding better than I am. And you don't give a fuck about these little shit machines you produced. Like, you're just like a terrible mother on top of it. Like, you're letting them get stuff that's basically like going to get them, like they think Call of Duty's really Call of Duty. Like, they're practicing for them streets. Like, what are we doing here? Like, Grand Theft Auto? Like, you live in Grand Theft Auto, bitch. Like, get the fuck out. Fucking breaks my heart. But it also, if we're going to incentivize it and somebody's going to take advantage of it, it is what it is. And that illegal chick and her mother, the illegal chick that called in last night, she is a giant ass part of that problem. Because it's like, yo, you're talking about, oh, we'll rise up all that, bitch. I'm going to tell you something. It's coming. That shit where, Lake and Riley, people like this, that terrible things have happened with, the woman that was on the New York subway recently, it's coming. America was born in violence. We actually have a pretty high penchant for violence, but we have the civilized refinery, I guess is a good way of putting it, of not letting that violence out in most cases, except for, the most criminal of us. However, I think America has had enough. And when Americans have had enough, I think we're going to see it. Like, how everybody's like, oh, they're going to be, taking this dad away from a kid on the news, and they're going to be filming it and everything else, and people are going to get all fucking upset about it, and it's going to be a whole big outrage, but we have to do it. It's like, I think it's going to come to a point, and it's starting to come to a point where that shit's going to be unapologetic. Like, oh, you want to go with daddy? Get the fuck out. Like, I think it's coming to that point for some reason. Yeah. I don't even know if it's just them crashing out or them having enough. And not going to lie, a little bit, little shit, and I say little shit, and I don't mean it that way, because it honestly is a huge, huge, devastating travesty that these people lost their homes. Same way it was a huge, devastating travesty with North Carolina, where the people lost their homes during a hurricane. The only difference is the hurricane is nature, and fucking the firestorms in LA are man-made, basically. Like, it's their fault from being neglectful. Like the hurricane, you can't stop, but those fires were 100% preventable. They could at least had breaks in the line, in the fire line. Like, you build fire lanes if you know you're in a high fucking risk of fire. Like, you put breaks in your wood lines. They call them fire lanes. Thanks, Paul. Good night, y'all, Paul. But yeah, um, I think even Californians are at that point now, or they're getting there, where all these people have just had their homes burned down and all this shit. When the moment they realize this was all preventable, we could have prevented this. And like I said, it's not the homeowner's fault. They're paying their taxes. They're doing what they're supposed to do. It's their elected leaders' faults. I think they're slowly starting to come around and starting to realize. And if everybody in New York, it was the crime, sprees and all this kind of shit that's doing it. With California, it's more shit like this, like firestorms and stuff. I think they're going to wake the fuck up. And I think stuff that they thought was, well, it's super important that you respect somebody's pronouns. I think that shit is going to take a back burner to, no pun intended, but going to take a back burner to, hey, my house is gone. My pets died in my house. They got cooked. Haitian immigrants are eating them right now. Like, they got cooked that bad. Like, every possession I own is gone. All my memories are gone. Like, I'm fucking starting over from scratch. Oh, and I can't get uh, homeowners insurance either, because half the insurance companies will not pay to have won't cover me. But I think we're in the midst of a giant ass wake up. And I'm not going to lie, I was saying this earlier, and it's a lot because I talked to David Mon and Danny Boss that are both over in the UK. I hear from here and there, and they're giving me insight, and have been giving me insight for years on what's going on over in England. I think if Great Britain, if we see them go, we've had enough of this emigrate, like taking in people and being charitable and them not adjusting to us, if we see their government turn around and say, you got to get the fuck out of our country, I'm not going to lie, a little bit, that's when we'll know that it's okay, we're on the right path as a world. Like, not just as the US, but as the world. I know Germany is starting to get there. They're pretty damn close. I know France has already pretty much gotten there. But in America, we definitely, that was the whole, nope, bring Trump back. I've had enough of this bullshit. So I think it's all coming. I think it's all coming to a head too. Lord. But I do have hope. I do have hope for us. And maybe that hope is misplaced. I don't know. But there's that feeling I get when I look to the west. No, seriously. there's that feeling I'm getting that it's all about to change. And I think it's going to be a good thing. I think it's going to overall it's a good thing for all of us. I think that it has gotten to that point where, and I don't completely disagree with it either. I think we should be charitable. I think we should care about our community and about each other. I think you should be, nice to your neighbors. I think your neighbors should be respectful of you as well. God damn, that's crazy. I don't know, mister, but only shooting stars break the mold. So, yeah, I don't know what the lady's name is, the mayor that was in Africa. Or she went to Ghana, and she went there for, I guess, a presidential election. Like the president was getting elected, some shit like this. I can't even fault her. Like, I can fault her for cutting the firefighting budget, stuff like this, but I can't fault her for taking a vacation, thinking nothing was going on. She's on vacation since last Saturday, and all of a sudden this shit happens. Like, sometimes shit happens at inopportune times. But her cutting the fucking firefighting budget by millions and then bragging about how she cut the firefighting budget by millions, knowing that, like, Palisades, according to one of the insurance companies, they won't even insure it because it's a high risk of wildfire damage. So they won't even insure it. Well, she better bless the rains down in Africa because she better take the time to find the things she never had. You too, because she's fucked up. But yeah, I like the big one is Newsom. So far, everything that comes out on that dude, it's like, yeah, we spent $24 billion on homeless, but we have the highest homeless population still in the country and have reduced none of it. We spent, I can't remember how many millions of dollars on supposedly firefighting stuff. Oh, and that was another thing that came out. Apparently, they sent spare firefighting equipment and everything else to Ukraine. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, you guys fucking can't get shit right. It's like watching a boxing match and the dude's fighting like the champ, right? And he drops his hands and like does like a little dance because he might have gotten off like a jab or something. And the champ, as soon as the guy drops his hands, just fucking hooks him and knocks him clean out. And that is what we got going on in California. It's like every time they fuck around a little bit, they're getting dropped. They're just catching that two piece in a combo, like done. And it's fucking crazy. I don't understand. I don't understand how you have that much fucking money going through your state and fuck this shit up. How? How do you mismanage things this badly? Like, I never wanted to be a leader as far as, like, government and all that stuff. I would never want that job. I don't want that kind of fucking responsibility. I'm fucking lazy. But apparently the people that we got in there just want to do press conferences and look good on screen. They don't actually give a fuck either. Pretty sure Chicago's like that too, right, mister? I know you're out in Chicago, but like people have kind of had enough. Or like, yeah, I'm not dealing with this bullshit anymore and like starting to wake the fuck up out there. I think that's what I keep saying. I don't know how true it is or how real deal that shit is. But yeah, I definitely think that's coming. Like one of the things that cracks me up, I I had a good chunk of hope for Chicago to flip red, but not a huge amount. Like honestly, out of all of them, I thought New Jersey, if anything, would have flipped red. I think they were the closest to flipping red. I was like, because everybody I talked to up there was like, yeah, I don't like Trump, but this is just people I know up there. So what the fuck do I really know about the entire state of New Jersey? Just the southern part. But they're like, I hate Trump, but I can't live with the prices Biden's got me under. Like I can't live with this inflation. I'm fucked. Yeah, Long Island is weird. It's not terrible. It's just I don't know. Like I guess it's because I've become a hermit and stay away from the public as much as possible unless I'm on the internet talking shit. But yeah, yeah, Long Island it wasn't terrible. Jesus Christ, trying to frame his face. I am so sorry, guys. Yeah, it's just some people are all about that life. Uh, some people are all about well, you don't understand because of the color of my skin, I've been mistreated or something. In some cases, that's 110% true. In other cases, it's pretty much like that's just what you've been taught and you're parodying it. Like, I grew up pretty fucking, actually, yeah, I grew up dirt poor. Parents divorced when I was a kid, grew up like shit, you know, like, I think back on my actual life and I had negative advantages. You don't ever hear me bitch about it, really. If anything, it just taught me how to survive and how to get by and all that kind of stuff, you know. Um, but I've seen people that have better advantage of me, and because our skin tone's different, they're like they were the victim, and it's like, how are you the victim, dude? Like, you grew up in an affluent neighborhood. Your parents were both married. Your dad's literally a millionaire, and you're telling me how rough your life is. It's like, yo, man, like, come on now. What are we talking about here? Now, granted, when I was in Camden, I'll tell you what, there were a lot of people there that I saw where they did get fucked with and messed with just just cause. Like the cops would just pull them while they're walking down the street, and it's like, yo, he didn't do nothing wrong. Like, what are we talking about here? And it seems to be more of a city thing. Seems to be that a lot more of that bullshit goes on in the city, I guess, than out in the middle of nowhere where people are judgmental like that. But I'll never understand it. I mean, I don't think it's right. And I don't agree. I definitely don't agree with it. But yeah, I can't get behind a victim mentality. We're all victims in one way or another, regardless. Like some of it's by circumstance, some of it's by birth. Um, but yeah, if you're gonna just be a victim for the rest of your life and not stand up for yourself, then you fucking kind of earned it. Like you just deserve to be a victim and you deserve to have your ass kicked. Hence, don't take shit from anyone, right? You know, stick up for yourself, assert yourself, educate yourself, get better, be better, be better than everybody expects you to be. Reed, I've said this. There's a reason why I got an angel wing and a demon wing, you know, and I haven't always been the best person, but I haven't always been the worst person either. I've always kind of been kind of neutral. Yeah, exactly. I like that saying, Sheree. That's fucking fantastic. At some point, you got to scratch your ass and get glad. That's fucking great. But yeah, you can't just, well, society this, society that, society the other thing. It's at some point you got to look in the mirror and go, you know something? Like flat out. I've looked at myself in the mirror and been like, dude, you're fucking up bad. You need to get your shit together. What the fuck are you doing? You know, and then there's been points in my life where I was like, well, I don't really give a fuck. And that's fine. At least I'm honest enough to admit that about myself where, you know, there was points where it was all my fucking fault. Like everything I'm going to say since the time I was 14 years old and started working a job was my goddamn fault. I spent my money a certain way. My fault. Well, I'm broke all the time. Why? Because I had fucking terrible spending habits. I had to learn to get that shit in line and get my shit together and, you know, not like spend money on frivolous shit when there's much more important stuff to get in this world. But no, you know, like it just, I don't know. Maybe that's my problem. I can't understand a victim mentality. You know, you get conned once in life. It's real easy to get conned in this life, but you get conned once. And if you don't smarten up to what the con is and how the game's played, then you're going to lose every fucking time. And I don't understand the people that are like, well, I keep getting conned, but keep doing the same fucking shit. Like, what are we doing here? Like, at some point, you never stopped and said, hey, wait a minute, I got conned last time. You know, maybe sending $2 million to the Nigerian prince wasn't a good idea. You know, or sending my last $20 to a PayPal account to help some princess in Bulgaria. Well, I used to have a saying when I was a kid, and it was a lot more vulgar than the, you know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. It was my old saying was, you fuck me once, you know, um, it's fuck you. You screw me twice, it's fuck me, and I'm not letting anybody fuck me. Which is a shame because I have met people in life who did change as they got older. But are you really willing to take that chance to get screwed around again, or you know, stuff like that? And the answer should always be no. Like, nope, you burned me once. That was enough. You burned me on money. I'm not trusting you with my money again. You burned me on my weed stash. I'm not trusting you to deal, you know, sell me weed again. But it just, Now I'm really in the weeds and just talking shit, I guess. Watching everything unfold. Like, as Trump's coming in off, it's still unbelievable to me. Trump is not the president for another 11 days. And he's already being treated like he's the fucking president. Like, nobody even gives a shit what Joe Biden's doing right now. That man could be murdering people, eating children behind the scenes, and nobody gives a shit. They're just like, yeah, whatever, Joe, go fuck off. That shit amazes me. How in the hell was this man ever president? Like, watching the press conference, I'm not going to lie a little. I even said to my wife, I'm like, I can't believe how much I missed it. It's like, what? I was like watching Trump do a press conference, having a leader actually able to answer questions on the fly. I was like, we should never be used to a president of the United States not being able to answer questions on the fly and only giving prepared statements and all this stuff and reading off a teleprompter. Should never happen. It should be you should have knowledge of everything going on around you. How the hell did I even get used to this? How did we all accept that as like, oh, well, that's normal. That's just Joe Biden being Joe Biden. Like, what? Yeah. Everybody has been saying fuck Joe Biden for years, right? But reality is when he does a press conference or anything, after like the third or fourth time that he just, no questions, he just came out, read his statement, and walked the fuck off stage. I think just average people, we all accepted that, okay, yeah, that's normal. That's just what he's going to do. And that's okay. And man, that shit was never okay. Like, especially now when we look at the contrast of you got a guy who isn't even the president yet, and they're like, sir, tell us about, the wildfires. Well, let me tell you about the smelt. Let me tell you about, like, he's in every goddamn aspect of it. And you're like, what is going on? Something else I wanted to talk about Trump, too. The thing that everybody's been going off with, including like, most of the media, all this stuff, even senators and stuff like Fetterman. I saw him give a statement on it. Trump talking about acquiring Greenland, making Canada a state, stuff like this. Panama Canal. That motherfucker is art of the dealing things. Basically, what I think is really going to happen is that he's like, he wants Greenland to let them drill or get rare earth materials from there. He doesn't actually want to buy the place. I think what he's doing is saying, yeah, we'll buy you. And then when he comes in and says, look, how about we don't buy you, but we just set up these mining operations here and here. And Greenland's like, oh, okay, you're not going to try and buy us? No, I'm not going to try and buy you. But this is what I do want to do. And they're just like, oh, that's so much better than you trying to buy us. Yeah, we can agree to that. Because China's tried to set up operations in Greenland for a long ass time now to get the rare earth materials. So I think he's just art of the dealing that shit. Same thing with Panama. I think they're going to start charging the U.S. like, yo, don't seize back the Panama Canal, but we're going to cut down how much it's going to cost for you to get a boat across here. I think that's what he's doing, and people are, because when he says shit, he's got such a good poker face. It scares the balls off people. Like, it scares the shit out of people. The fact that he got Justin Trudeau to resign with a fucking one of his tweets is fucking unreal to me, though. I'll tell you that much. I think that was fucking hysterical. Dude, Joe Biden wasn't even playing checkers. Trump was playing chess and fucking Joe Biden was playing hopscotch. Like, this guy wasn't even in the same fucking universe. Just imagine, like, if we see him and we see him like give conferences and all that kind of stuff or talk. Just imagine how other world leaders were looking at him. Like just Xi Jinping. Like, Joe Biden don't even know who he is. He fuck up. Oh, that man, America fucked. They don't even know yet. Like he was legit just a not even like okay. So Jimmy Carter, I said this before, awful president, awful president, humanitarian, fantastic man, wonderful husband, um, wanted nothing but peace for the world. Like you can go off about what a good man Jimmy Carter was. You can't do the same with Joe Biden. It's like what a fucking piece of shit, just all around as a human being, as a president, as a dad. I mean, even as a father, what a piece of shit. He's going to go down as the biggest piece of shit in politics ever. Yeah, it didn't scare me. So the whole thing with China is they play a very long game, okay? And so China will wait. The only problem is I think China waited too long. So if they were to go like we're going to go attack Taiwan tomorrow, we'd say, right? Let's just say that they go and attack Taiwan. It's too late because in 11 days Trump takes office and they're afraid of that repercussion. So they played their long game and they're very good at the long game, but sometimes that short game can counteract that long game. What is your name? My name is Long. What's your middle name? Duck. And your last name? Dong. But yeah, there was a time that China had a window. Like Putin saw that window and fucking took it, and that's the whole Ukraine war. The moment they fucked around in Afghanistan, that's when Putin was like, "Oh yeah, this old motherfucker can't stop me. Like I got him. He won't back up what he says. He's got no balls. He's an old lion with no teeth and no claws. He's basically essentially a house cat. Like this is over." Trump, that's a whole different man. That's one of those like they're paying attention because they know he's on his game, that he's saying stuff and Putin's watching and going like, "Yeah. Yeah, this war's coming to an end soon." Like he knows like fucking Zelensky knows the grift's over. He knows that like, yep, this well has dried up. I better take my billions of dollars that I just bilked the US for and be done with it. And like, the shittiest part is this. How many people had to die and for what? What did they die for? What did the Russians die for? What did the Ukrainians die for? What was it all for? Like they okay, Russia took a little bit of land and all that. And okay, yes, Ukraine, they defended themselves or what have you. But what was it really all for? Like when you break that shit down, what did you die for? Russia wasn't going into Kiev. They didn't start attacking that until they launched those long range missiles and fucking like pegged the hell out of Moscow. That's when they really went at Kiev hard. Kiev, however the fuck you want to say it. But legitimately, what was the entire point? That it couldn't have been done diplomatically. Now, what I think is going to be interesting is seeing which generals get elevated under Trump too. That's going to tell us a lot. Because I swear to God, the first one that wants his troops to understand white fragility, unless it's here's what we don't do is white fragility, he needs to get rid of those motherfuckers immediately. Like immediately. Like get them the fuck out. Just, well, you're in a forced retirement. The president is retiring your ass. Get whoever it was who took out ISIS in like 6 months. Get that guy in there and have him running and overseeing the armed forces. Because it's going to scare the shit out of our enemies, and maybe he'll just be able to prevent the war before it starts. But these other guys, yeah, fuck them. Get out. God damn it. Oh, thank God for Pepto Milana and active charcoal. So, like, what else is going on? Did I miss anything else that's like big in the news or going on in the world? Anything else that was exciting? I do got to say this too while I'm at it. I do appreciate the fuck out of all you guys because, I had an alarm set, everything else. Was feeling like shit, blowing up the toilet, the whole 9 yards. Like I got food poisoning or something. Passed the hell out. Had my alarm set for 6 p.m. Didn't wake up to it, everything. And then, like I said, the first thing I wake up to was David like, hey man, like people are like, where the hell are you? And I'm like, oh, people actually like give a fuck if I stream or not. That's amazing. That's epic. Thank you guys. I wasn't expecting that. It was very touching. I'll say it that way. It was touching. It was very nice. And I was like, fuck it. Like let's do a quickie here for you guys just so I can talk shit and maybe make some jokes or have a good night, mister. Thank you for dropping in, brother. Enjoy your flight. Fly safe. Get back to Chicago safe and sound. You know, hopefully it doesn't burn down and become the third city instead of the second city. You never know. You never know. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, like I said, touching. Like, let's see, I didn't even look at this. I fired everything up so goddamn quick and so thread threadbare. Pretty sure like six has me on in the background. I'm sure 'cause it's late night. That's just it. The one person who isn't chiming in, who must be just sitting in the backdrop eating popcorn, is Devin. I guarantee she's fucking like sitting there, just like, yep, I'm just listening to your bullshit, dude. Waiting for me to say something musical. Like I said, it was kind of a fast fire up tonight. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just leave it. Nope, nah, might as well stream them. I'm up and moving, so why not? Just imagine though, if I shit my pants on stream, I'm blaming it on you guys. I'll tell you that much. Like if it's like, oh no, I made a nuclear boom boom. Well, I'm blaming you guys. Wow, you guys are already under a foot of snow. Where the dear Lord? Yeah, it didn't snow down here. I mean, I guess I'm close enough to the coastline where I didn't get hit with it. But I know, like, even last night on like ABL, he was like, yeah, winter storms down in Georgia, which isn't, I'm right there on that borderline. And when he said it, I was just like, damn, really? I didn't see shit about this. The hell's he talking about? I mean, it is very cold out, and water is freezing. Like the cats' water dishes and stuff like that. The outdoor cats, their water dishes are freezing, but no snow. And down south, like snowfall is actually terrifying to me. Up north, it can be a blizzard. I'll drive through that shit. Down here, nah. And the reason being is up north, they salt the roads every year, basically, because you know you're going to have winter storms and all that. So they go out and they, even if it's like the hint that it might snow, they go out and they salt the road. So the road gets treated over time. Down south, because it never snows, all it takes is like a little bit of water on the road to freeze, and it's an ice skating rink. And you can't drive in it. Like you're going to wreck. And people like don't know how to drive in and on top of it. Then you get the people from up north that come down and they're like, "Oh, I can drive on snow. I'm used to it." It's like, yeah, but you can't drive on ice, you fucking idiot. Like you seem to have overlooked this fact. Wow, that's crazy. They went back to school yesterday and then they're just out tomorrow. Like that. Well, I mean, at least they're gonna have some fun snowball fights and fun playing in it at least. Unless you got them like shoveling the driveway and shit, then that's not so much fun. But yeah, I don't miss any of that. I don't miss snow and cold even a little bit. Not a little. Like when I first got down here, I was like, damn, it's kind of weird not having snow every year. And then, yeah, I got so used to it. Like, oh, thank God there's no snow this year. Thank God I don't have to let my car warm up for like 45 minutes before I drive it just to make sure, everything's defrosted and good to go. And I had to clear all the windshields and all that kind of shit. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got to have kids that earn their keep. They're expensive as fuck. So they have to earn it in some way, shape, or form. I don't think I think people without kids don't realize just how expensive children are. Like I know when our kids moved out, it was insane because I'm like, yo, how are we able to, afford this, that, or the other thing? Oh, the kids moved out. What do you mean? Well, our electric bill went down like $300. Our, like our food bill dropped because, we don't charge them rent or any of that stuff. Um, it was like this dropped in price. Like we don't use as much electric, we don't use as much food, we don't use as much this, that, or the other. And it was like, God damn, was it really this much money? And it was like, yeah, it really was that much money. But nothing more rewarding than actually having a kid that loves you, or is actually a decent kid and very rewarding. Yeah, I can't imagine diapers and baby formula. I can't imagine how much loot. Well, actually, I kind of can because I, work in retail at Walgreens or whatever, running the front end. It definitely saw how much people were spending where even before all this bullshit with theft went through the roof, we had our baby formula locked up in like the store I worked at, and that was actually in a pretty affluent part of town, but it was the most stolen thing. And what can I'm not going to lie a little bit. If somebody had come in and they stole the baby formula, I might have turned a blind eye. Like it didn't happen, but I'm just going to say it flat out. If somebody came in and was stealing baby, like one thing of baby formula, like I need this baby formula, I can't afford it, I probably would have turned a blind eye because it's just nature of the beast. I can't watch a kid starve like that. Yeah, well, it's getting like down here. What's fucked up is this, and I've noticed this when we go shopping at like a Walmart. They have a lot of stuff behind glass now that they didn't before, and it's not because of theft in that store. It's because they put out a nationwide mandate so that they didn't specify, like, oh, well, all the stores in California, everything's got to be locked up because people are stealing this shit. They're like, no, we'll just implement this nationwide. And it's like, yo, so you're punishing us for the shit that people do in these different places like California, New York, or whatever when they go in to steal. That's fucking great. Well, what the fuck? But yeah, it's definitely it's nationwide now. That's how they tried to not embarrass certain states. Like, well, we're not saying it's California, but if we do it as a national mandate, then California gets pissed at us. We can't really. But that's where I also think it's like irresponsible business ownership because if you're getting robbed all the time in California, we'll say versus I don't know, pick a place, Montana, right? Like, well, we have no theft in Montana, but we have it all in California. I'd be like, well, either we're going to pull all our stores out of California because I don't feel like losing profit, or we are going to, just implement the theft system in California and not in Montana. That's going to save us a bundle too. Instead, them implementing across the board, they're spending money they don't need to in places they really don't need to. So either way you're looking at it, you're cutting your corporate profit, like you're fucking your margins. Yeah, like that's just it. Here, there's certain things I can understand them locking up. You know, um, but it's not like New York City where people were going in and just like, I need about $850 worth of things today. I'm just going to walk out of the store with them, and you guys aren't even going to do anything. And if you do, it's only going to be a misdemeanor. Like you didn't have shit like that going on. Like you might get somebody who was sliding one past the goalie here or there, but it wasn't all that level. Like, nobody walking out of the store with a big screen TV, a cart full of groceries, shit like this. Well, that's just it. Then you get porch pirates. So, California, right? Amazon delivers it and then somebody steals it off the fucking porch. You have to be home or have somebody home 24/7 just to get your fucking packages. Like, California is a place where people go, California dreaming for fuck's sake. Like people want to go there, become famous, all this other stuff, and then a lot of them end up starving and broken. Yeah, it's a shame, but I can't lie a little bit. It's always been this way. Like I know up north, I used to look at shit all the time because, like I said, when I was younger, I grew up in the country. When I was older, I moved to the city, right? Or just outside the city, my buddy. And the difference just in just in that state of country versus city, rural versus urban, like unfucking believable. Unbelievable. The way people treated each other, the whole nine yards. Dear Lord, I got stuff coming up for used cars on my phone. I need to find a picture of good old Rick Sanchez here because I started to do something and just realized I think I'm doing it wrong. Let's see what we got. I gotta, because normally I have the picture up. So he looks like he's blue everywhere. Actually, his shirt matches his hair and he does have cufflinks. Okay. But yeah, it's a goddamn shame. And I mean, like I said, some people you hit dire straits. I get it. I'm not going to fault anybody like, well, my baby's starving. I work two jobs but can't afford anything. I understand. I get it. So you go in there and it was just a one time or two time thing to get you through because you were in the lean times and you couldn't make it any other way. I'm not going to fault a mother for doing some shit like that. But when you're walking in like, yo, make sure you get some Funyuns too. Like, what are we doing here? Like, that's a whole different matter. That's, and it's like, oh, well, I don't even work. I just go in and just loot stuff and sell it on the side. Like, what? At least be like one of the coupon ladies that used to come in. That's one of those stories. The coupon lady. She used to come in, load up on everything that was on sale at 12 midnight because we were an overnight store. And at 12:01, all the sales would kick in on the register, and she would have like coupons for everything, and she would buy a shit ton of it, and then she would take it to a flea market and sell it. But at least and we all thought she was like a pain in the ass to ring up, and well, wait, I got a coupon for that. Oh, wait, no, that's not the right coupon. I need a void here, whole nine yards, right? The only thing was, at least she was doing that shit legitimate, and even though she was kind of taking advantage of the sales, she was still giving money to the company and then making her loot on the side. Oh yeah. Well, St. Louis in specifics, I ended up. I think I've told this story before. If not, it's worth telling again. My one buddy Bones, the one that was just in a motorcycle accident, he had had some issues and had moved to Oklahoma. Well, actually, he just got married, moved to Oklahoma because the girl's parents basically gave him a house to live in. Shit didn't work out. Going through a divorce, all that, wanted to move back to New Jersey. I took a bus trip out there because that's all I could really afford to go rescue or help him drive back and all that kind of shit. And I got stuck in a bus station in East St. Louis that had a legit mini police station in the bus station. And the cops told me that if I went outside to smoke, I was on my own after the lights went out. I was like, what? They're like, yeah. Yeah, if you go out those doors after lights go out, you're done. You're like, you're on your own. And I'm not going to lie, a little bit, it was fucking bad. It was like a third world country in that bus station. Yeah, I mean, okay, so the couponing thing, right? I think it's an ingenious thing if you can pull it off. If you're on top of your game with it and all that, you buy like five, six newspapers, 10 newspapers. This lady would buy like She'd go around and buy out every goddamn newspaper there was and hit multiple Walgreens. So she would go to like 6 different Walgreens in the same day. And I mean like shit ton of shopping. Like this woman was just extra with it. But like the whole thing was she'd be like, "Oh, you're going to give me static for this." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. Actually, you've done nothing wrong. You're playing by what corporate has put out there. If it says there's a limit on it, like there's a limit three per customer or something, I have to respect that because I'm not going to override the computer and give it to you, right? And it'll say it on the coupon too. And you had to know this shit. Like she taught me a lot actually about couponing. Yep. And it was in the 90s when that happened too, Sheree. Dear Lord. Man, you kept the newspaper in business. That's crazy. 100 to 200 a week? That's quite a bit. Like walking around with your notebook full of all the coupons, like the little pockets in it and the whole 9 yards, like they were baseball cards. Check this just to make sure before I start painting again. Yep, blue, blue, blue. Actually, let me see. I need a gray or blue. Gray frost. Yeah, the shelf clearers were the brutal part because like that the one woman would come in and that's just it. You're like, well, there goes like 90% of the shit that was there. And not only it wasn't bad for sales, it was more I'm gonna have to restock that shit now. And that was always the headache. Like she bought 300 of this. Now I gotta restock it. Great. But yeah, she'd make $400 to $500 a day just reselling the stuff she got couponing. I mean, that's not too bad of a racket when you really break it down. God, feel so sloppy doing this. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie a little bit. At one point, we got to a point with her where it was like, oh, detergent's on sale. What kind does she normally get? She normally gets this kind. We just set two cases aside so we didn't have to go restock. But yeah, I mean, it definitely. I gotta say, the overnight shift was a epic shift because you met some really interesting people that you wouldn't have. Like there was one dude I became friends with who actually was a coroner's assistant, and I would see him at like 3, 4 in the morning or whatever. He'd come in, and I'd just be like, "What's up, brother?" I was like, "What do you do anyway? Why are you in here? Like, I only see you maybe once a month, sometimes twice." And I was like, "Every time you come in, you're always cool and all that." And he's like, "Oh, I'm a coroner's assistant." He's like, "Whenever somebody dies, I come in and this is the only place open." I was like, "Holy shit!" So he's like, he told me a lot too about like when they're grabbing the body or what have you. He's like, yeah, he's like the first thing you're taught is respect in handling that body and everything. Like he was a really nice guy. He's like, and it pays a lot because nobody wants to do that job. He's like, people get scared, people get creeped out, ghosts and all that kind of shit. And he's like, to me, it's just a job. I'm just getting paid. He's like, but I also respect the bodies and the loved ones and everything else. Jeez. Times where I could kick myself for printing small, and this is one of them. Yeah, if a dude is, you mean like sleeping with them or actively fornicating with them? We'll say it that way. Because if he is actively, man, that was one story. Dude gets engaged to this girl, and I'm sure you can find the actual story somewhere. Oh God, yeah. So this dude was a mortician, and he was engaged to get married, and like the stories out there, and I'm sure you can find somebody who's definitely done a whole breakdown on it, people's names and all that. But I just remember the story. And the guy was like, he was a mortician, and his fiance started like getting issues in her nether regions. Went to a doctor, and he was like, "Yeah, this is necrotic tissue." And it turned out that yeah, he was doing things to the bodies, and he basically like gave her a, I'm gonna say an undead disease, but basically like the dead cells from doing it, like it. Just imagine being that chick and going to a doctor and being like, "Yo, I don't know what's going on with my hoo ha," and then him going like, "Well, the only way you get this is from dead tissue. Basically, the only way you get this disease is through a dead tissue," and then finding out that your fiance is actively banging corpses. And not just that he's actively banging corpses, but he gave you something banging corpses. Like he passed it on to you. Like that means he was doing stuff with the corpse and then probably doing stuff with her not long after. Oh no, no, no. I think that's one where if she was on trial for, murder one, I think the jury should have quit her at that point. Like, yeah, oh no, 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 you didn't do anything wrong, honey. You did the right thing here. That was like the whole thing with Mpox, where it was like when it first came out, and they were like, yeah, apparently it's really only affecting the gay community, and then all of a sudden a dog and a child got it, and it's like, well, wait, the kid's parents were gay and the dog's owners were gay, like, and all of a sudden just monkeypox disappeared. Like, what happened to this story? Oh, yeah, I think any jury would let her off. Like as a human being, as a reasonable person, you have to look at something like that. It's like the father in Texas that caught the guy like diddling his son, made him go out and dig his own grave and then put him in it. And they're like, we're not even pressing charges on this guy. It's like, yeah, because I can't blame him. Like as a dad, if I caught you doing something like that to my kid, man, there wouldn't be like they'd find you you'd wash up in the ocean in like 10,000 years after parts of you washed up on the shore, and the archaeologists are looking at you like, how'd this human being get all the way out here in different pieces? And you'd be lucky if I got a hold of you. Like my wife is a lot scarier than I am when it comes to that kind of shit. My wife was like, I would drop an IV in them, keep them alive, and cut pieces off them slow. I'm like, oh God. She's like, I'd make sure that they felt everything too. Like, oh Jesus. I was just going to, end the guy immediately. You're talking about like a whole nother level. But, I also can't blame her. Evil men need to meet an evil end. The best way I can say that. Evil men definitely need to meet a evil and violent end. That's one of those things I don't understand. Where they're like, well, we're giving you the death sentence for you killed three kids and molested them before you killed them and all this. We're going to give you this lethal injection that's going to kill you in like 30 seconds. No, kill them slow. Let them die slow and painful. Let them feel every ounce of it. Like that's just me, maybe. Yeah, maybe that's just me thinking justice for the victim. But hit him with a paralytic, and then you know what I mean. So he can't move, but can still feel, and just yep. I used a Peruvian blowfish or some such thing, and the toxins from this blowfish just keep you alive while we do this, that, and the other. Like there was an old movie. I'm gonna say it was called Serpent and the Rainbow, and like honestly, the movie was just so on its own. But the one thing that I remember happening in the movie, and the only reason why it sticks in my head, is because it was all voodoo or whatever. But they took this one dude, and like the main character, and I want to say it was Bill Pullman, and they sat him in a chair and they had him like where he couldn't move his hands, couldn't move his legs, and then nailed his scrotum to the chair. And it was like they flash forwarded like he eventually gets saved, and it was like 3 weeks later. And what the hell happened? It was like 3 weeks later, and he was walking with a cane and could barely walk. So they really like depicted like if you had damage like that done to you, exactly how bad you would be hurt. Like you'd be lucky to be alive, but just how bad that shit would hurt. I think this might be too gray and not enough blue in there. It's pulling blues, but I'm definitely gonna have to switch up paint. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I need a little bit bluer. Let's see. Yeah, that'll work. No, probably not. I guarantee you, YouTube is definitely playing some fuckery game because so like I was saying, I was going to do those other videos, and then I could literally put them out where it's like, yeah, it's kid friendly or what have you. The live streams are always going to stay adult. I'm not, I'm not switching off that. Not for kids setting because that would just be a lot of headaches with some of the shit we discuss and some of the stuff that comes out of my damn cake hole. I can't believe I'm holding up as well as I am. Although I am going to have to walk the dog for a second. He's got that whine going on, which means he really has to go. He's pretty good about not interrupting the stream, as well anybody who tunes in regularly knows. When he's really got to go, he's really got to go. Poor puppers. Yeah. I mean, look, Sheree, you have mod powers too. So that should tell you, like, if an average person had sent that, like, they probably would have deleted them off the fucking planet. But I'm sure it was a good tweet or a good, I keep saying tweet for some fucking reason. I don't know why I got tweets on the brain when I don't even use fucking Twitter. Yeah, I mean, every now and again the dog does go off, but usually it's because he sees something outside or he's really, really got to go and his daddy's ignoring him. Like he's even good when I'm playing video games. Like he's kind of like he's definitely a good dog. I'm actually shocked by it. Sure, it would. Right now, Twitter would 110% allow you on there because Elon Musk. Actually, Facebook's going to be that way soon too. Like that's what I'm saying. I'm seeing things just in our culture switch where it's yeah, just the fact that they acknowledged that they were censoring people. Look, we were censoring people, we were wrong in it, stuff like that. Now, granted, I think Mark Zuckerberg, for example, is doing that shit. I think Elon Musk actually believes in it. I think Zuckerberg's more like, yo, we need to stay viable and I got to stay rich. So if we don't do this, well, all my money's going to go away. And The worst thing you can do to rich people isn't like do horrible things to them. It's you just take away their money. If you can make a rich person poor, that's the worst goddamn thing you can ever do to a rich person. Is make them live like they're poor or make them poor. Worst thing possible to them. Yeah, Zuckerberg. Well, actually, I don't even think it's not about him wanting to or not wanting to. I don't think he actually gives a shit. I just think he doesn't want to, get wiped out, and that's where he's headed is a major wipeout. And I hate to say it this way, it's kind of a dick thing to say, but it's a typical guy move. So if a guy doesn't have like really big junk, or you know doesn't feel satisfactory in one way or another, they overcompensate in another. So, that's why it's always the big joke that guys who buy the Corvette, it's because they have a small penis. But it's probably true in a lot of cases. Not going to lie. Um, and it's one of those things where him just saying we're reversing things and going to community notes. Okay, cool. Him putting Dana White on the board of directors. Yeah, all right, you're overcompensating, bud. You just bought the Corvette because you got a small penis. You know, like you went, you're taking a little too far. You went a little extra. Hey, am I wrong, Sheree? Am I? Well, no, I guess you hit the target there. So yeah, if the chat goes away, it's because I'm. Yeah, see, that is there you go. 72 hours to just like do whatever they want to the guy. Hell, you give some dads, you give them 5 minutes alone with somebody that's hurt one of their children, or some mothers even. You give them like you give them 10 minutes alone, and it's over. That shit would be over. You'd have insta justice. But the only problem is, and the reason why they don't do stuff like that is because what if somebody is innocent? What the hell's a? There's an old movie, The Salem Witch Trials. What the hell was it called? It's actually an old book I read. It's called The Crucible, and Goody Proctor, I think, was the one character's name. But they accused her of being a witch and faked like she was a witch because they didn't like her. Like they basically mean girled her during the Salem witch trials. And like the whole story is about her defending herself. But stuff like that, you got to be careful of because girl gets mad at a guy, accuses him of something. Guy that actually didn't do it, and then the dad gets a hold of him for 5 minutes in that cell, and yeah, bad things happen. Well, is what it is. It's got to be something that's proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that this happened. And that's not me sticking up. It's just people are fucked up and falsely accuse people of stuff all the time. You know, um, just to get revenge on them. I understand that angle. I actually understand that angle personally, and I'm not. I'll get into that someday if I haven't already. I may have talked about it before, but yeah, I get how that whole shit works. When you didn't do something, you get accused of something, and it's like, yo, I didn't do this. But then you go through the court system, and if you're not lying, well, There's a reason I have a clean record and no charges against me and none of it. And that's pretty much the reason why. Is because yeah, when shit turns out to be bullshit and you can prove it's bullshit, you'll win in court. But after you get found guilty and beyond a shadow of a doubt, like you've exhausted all appeals, like you've gone, oh, I went to every appellate court and they all shot it down. Well, then it's nighty night for your butthole, sir. Yeah, see, that's just it. Right there, Sheree. Okay, so in a time when there wasn't DNA testing and all this kind of stuff, I could understand that because you might have convicted an innocent man. Like Patterson, New Jersey, what was the boxer's name? He was a champion. The Hurricane, right? Falsely accused, went to prison, all that kind of stuff. He didn't do shit. That was bullshit. Like that was legit. Racist cops got him there. I think in the movie it was Denzel Washington who played him too. But in a day and age where it's like, yeah, we got you on six different iPhones and your DNA and all that kind of stuff, we can prove this beyond a shadow of a doubt. Okay, well, we're going to run it through the appellate system. Okay, cool. None of this, well, you're going to sit on death row for the next 12 years, 15 years of your life. Just fucking take them outside the courtroom and just put them down. Like, it's over at that point. Like, end it. Instead, you get shit like, man, that's one of those damn things. That's a Joe Biden thing right there. Well, I don't agree with the death penalty, so I'm going to commute these sentences and make it where, well, you just overran our justice system. And don't get it fucked up. I'm not real happy that when Donald Trump was president the first time, he pardoned Jared Kushner's father because that man cheated like a lot of people out of their life savings to make himself billions. And honestly, I think that's the real reason why Jared Kushner has no place in the Trump administration going forward either, is because Trump pulled that and he was like, oh, well, they just want to go away from the public eye and raise a family. No, I think you bailed your daddy out and you're a piece of shit too there, Jared Kushner. You did some good stuff with the whole Middle East and the Abraham Accords, but yeah, your daddy's a piece of shit. Like he deserves to rot. I think he's like the ambassador to something. So like not an important position, but like I made you the ambassador to. Are you like going to Jamaica every year? Okay, you're the ambassador to Jamaica. I think he did some shit like that, but I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Like, dude, you're a fucking corporate criminal, and people like you, there's some grandma somewhere where she invested her entire life savings into you, and you fucking rooked her for it. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like now she's living in a home by herself and can't afford to breathe. It's one thing if somebody makes an investment and the investment goes bust. It's another thing if somebody goes and like cons you basically and tells you you're going to get all this, that, and the other and guarantees it and then fucks you out of your money or misappropriates it magically into their own bank account. That's some fucked up shit. Might as well put Madoff on Doge too. Yeah, like I don't know. Doge to me is an interesting kind of entity. I'm like of two minds on it. Part of me is like, okay, they're doing this for altruistic reasons and all this kind of stuff, and they really do want to help America. Then the other part of me screaming and going like, bro, they're billionaires and they're figuring out, yes, they're going to help the government, but how can they help themselves out of this? And like with Elon in particular, okay, yes, he's the richest man in the world. He doesn't need the money, and maybe he is being altruistic. But Vivek Ramaswamy, he's a billionaire and self-made and all that. But how did he make his money? Pharmaceuticals. I believe it was pharmaceutical company. I I don't. Oh shit. I don't know that I trust all that. You know what I mean? Like just I don't know that I 100% trust it. Like I like Vivek. I like his messaging. It hasn't really changed. He's kept pretty goddamn consistent, but he's also very smart and he's brand new. He's not really super vetted. So I don't know. He sets off my gut a little bit. Like he worries me a little. Elon does too, just not to the same extent. Elon worries me more about him making his cars over in China and exporting them to here. Like, imagine if we slap a tariff on everything over in China, but somehow magically Tesla doesn't have to pay that tariff or something, or gets around it in some way. Like, I'm going to feel some kind of way about that. Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair though, like look at JD Vance, right? They made a whole fucking movie about JD Vance before he was like even considered to be vice president, like material and all that stuff. And even though I had heard of Hillbilly Elegy, I had never seen it. I still haven't seen it. Heard it's a good movie, but I didn't know jack or shit about JD Vance until really the debate was what put JD Vance over to me. Like that, it was the debate with Tim Walz where I watched how he carried himself, and it was like, he's actually pretty good. But Vivek out of nowhere was like, yes, I'm running for president and I am Donald Trump light. And this is what I believe in everything. And then you look at his background, you're like, you're kind of, I don't know about you, buddy. I mean, you're saying the right things, and you got a book called Woke Inc. that you wrote a while ago. I don't know. Something about you just seems like you're in this for the money, the props, and hey, I'm not going to fault you for it, but be honest about it. You know, same thing I always say about the grift on YouTube. If you tell me you're a grifter, and you're telling me you're in this to make money, and you get people to watch your content to make money off them, get say certain shit to get super chats, I can at least respect that. I may not agree with it, but I respect it. Like for me, it's at least just come honest with it. Just be honest with things. It's fine. It's absolutely 110% fine if you want to be bigger than what you are. Everybody does, I think. Well, maybe not me. Well, no, even me, because I do want to get the 500 subs, shit like that. I do want YouTube to give me the loot for talking shit on the interwebs. I think might as well take the money while you're at it. But I'm not going to grift a whole bunch of people and like, oh well, you got to do YouTube Shorts to get monetized. You can go fuck yourself. I'm not TikToking. You know, like I'll try different venues. I'll try reading old stories on the interwebs and seeing how that does. If two people view it, that's more than enough. That's two people who didn't know a story beforehand, or maybe it was somebody who really loved the story and had never, like forgot about it and then came across it and was like, oh yeah, that story. That's I always liked that story. But at the same point in time, I'm not gonna do shit just to make the money. If I was in shit just to make the money, if I were in dire straits right now or what have you, I would be pushing that grift hard as fuck. I would be letting everybody know I'm pushing the grift hard as fuck. I would tell them exactly why I'm grifting. I would sell like shit that I paint or whatever, the whole nine yards. Like I would just go the hell off. And I'm sure my wife's probably like, why the fuck don't you sell things? But I think even she kind of respects that I'm like, no, this is why. Not like I'm going to make a million off of it. So, not like I'm doing anything super fancy either. Yeah, well, that's the one thing. And this is something that I've learned from my wife. The worst thing that I could ever say to my wife is, I don't know, unless it's something about factual information that I have no knowledge of. Right. So, for example, who built the pyramids? I don't know. Okay, she's not going to get mad at me. Right. But if she's like, why did you eat the last piece of cake after I told you not to eat the last piece of cake? And I say, I don't know, man, that's World War III. You might as well just, because you know why you ate it. And she's not wrong in that. So it's just, I always come honest with it. Like, you know, it's like, why did you eat that? But I don't know. I don't accept that answer from the children. Why would I accept it from you? Well, fuck. You know why you ate the cake? Because you were hungry? Because you just wanted an indulgent cake? What is it? Like, oh shit, I'm getting my ass beat here. Help. Trust me, my wife raised me better than my mother did. Can say that with damn near certainty. She, like, there's that old saying behind every great man is a great woman, blah, 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 right? Leg- Legitimately, I find that to be actually true. I think if my wife wasn't who she is, tolerates my shit to a certain extent, but not the extent where she makes the unacceptable acceptable. I think if she wasn't like that, I wouldn't respect her, and I probably would have either been divorced or moved on by now, or what have you. Oh, my mom. My mom's resolved with what's happening. If anything, I feel sorry for her because I'm not going to lie. My mom's always been like, I think my mom's pretty much relied on her looks to get through life. Not going to lie at all. And she's old now. The looks are gone. She's going out in a way that she didn't, you know, she never smoked a cigarette in her life. Her shit's all from toxic mold in that house. And the reason I know this is because at one point we converted the basement over to a room and I was living in it and I had found the mold. And I used to have lung problems, but I always thought it was from excessive weed and cigarette smoke. And then going to a doctor, I actually had a kidney stone, and they did the MRI, and you could see the bottom of my lungs, and then they actually did the chest too. You could see where the kidney stone literally went through my, dropped into my bladder from my kidney and all that. It was actually pretty cool. But they're like, yeah, you got scar tissue on your left lung. I'm like, yeah, I've smoked cigarettes for 30 plus years. I would hope so. They're like, it's not from cigarette smoking, it's from some foreign agent getting into your lungs. I'm like, what? I was like, wait, would mold do that? And they're like, black mold, yes. And I was like, that's what it's from. And that's exactly what's wrong with my mother. Like, I'll be upset. I'll be sad when my mom passes, but I also won't be because it's been so much time that I've kind of accepted it and just the reality's got to hit when the reality hits. And I wish her nothing but a good life and hopefully, there's some way she can recover from it and all this. But I also have accepted the fact that I'm going to bury both my parents. And that's the way life should go. Eventually, my children will have to bury me. That's the chain of custody. That's the way this works. It shouldn't be me burying my kids ever. I can't think of a worse thing as a parent than burying one of your children. And that's one of those things that makes Joe Biden actually a complete piece of shit because when you had the 13 men and women killed in Afghanistan and he goes and he talks about his own loss and he's not talking about the people that have passed away, like those parents, like my God, that that's when somebody is single focused on their own problems, themselves, and everything else, and it's not about anybody else. Yeah, I you're not wrong. I don't want to see anybody lose their child. I think it's horrific. I mean, granted, you got people out there that want to end their kids before they're even born, and that's their choice. And sometimes circumstances are what circumstances are. I can not like something, but understand it, not agree with it, understand it, and it's got to be a rough decision in some cases. Some cases, maybe they want the kid and shit goes wrong, and it is what it is. But yeah, somebody who has raised a child or whatever and that child dies, that's got to be devastating, no matter who they are. It's something I hate even thinking about because I don't ever want to picture losing one of my kids. I wouldn't want to picture anybody else losing theirs. Probably why I'm so adverse to war because really you're sacrificing somebody's son or daughter, you know, like and unless the cause is super just, like, hey, it's World War II and we're stopping the fucking ultimate evil from taking over the goddamn planet. Okay, I get that one. I get why sacrifice needs to be made. Hey, we're fighting so we can secure an oil field. Yeah, that doesn't sit real well with me. Doesn't really sit well with me. I'm not going to lie a little bit. You know, it's I think some wars are justified and need to be fought. However, not all the time either. I think there's a lot of stuff that could have been resolved a lot easier. Other stuff, not so much. Peace among worlds. wonder if I'm going to keep this base black on this thing. I should just really go for it. Although that Imodium is definitely helping. Still sniffly, but feeling a little bit better. I do think it's funny, though. You guys do crack me up, Sheree. Especially you. It's like, Gam, where are you? You said you'd be here. God damn it. Get on. Although, like I said, I was actually touched because you guys were worried something actually happened to me, and it's like, oh, I'm just sick. But you don't know that. And I guess after, maybe everybody's a little bit more sensitive to that, if especially the people in ABL, when um, retired Chicago police officer died. I think that's what makes everybody in the ABL chats a little bit more sensitive to, hey, somebody that's normally here and does this all the time, all of a sudden stop showing up for some reason. Well, I can tell you now, if our shores are threatened, they land in New Jersey, they're not making it past Camden. If they land in South Carolina, God help them. If they land in Florida, God help them. Like, the U.S. is definitely, there's no shortage of guns, and there's no shortage of people who know how to use guns and are good at using them. So we'll be all right. I think we'll be okay. OBKB. But yeah, if ever there's a doubt about it, the there's a couple people in that Discord that can get a hold of me through my phone and through on like Xbox, or they have other means of getting a hold of me than just the Discord. And one of those people is David. David Mon is one. Paul is another one. Paul, who was in the chat earlier, he actually like and I'm going to say this because he's not here to hear it, and I break his balls all the time. He's actually a very good friend, like legitimately. Um, he and I bonded a while ago, specifically because of his love of Star Wars. When he was a kid, long story short, he was only allowed to watch Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, basically, as far as action movies went. Paul was raised very, very, very strictly Christian. Um, but touching story about Paul. So, and I know this has got to annoy people when I talk about him, but my best friend Guido dying. Guido and I were all about Star Wars. We read through all the extended universe. We, like saw all the movies day one in the theater when they came out, like, that whole 9 yards. And then The Last Jedi happened. I kind of fell out of love with Star Wars. He still loved it anyway. And one of the big things was we always played the games together. So you have like Star Wars Battlefront, X Wing versus TIE Fighter. You had all these different games over the years, and we would always play all those games together. And when Guido passed, I was like, yeah, I'm 100% done with Star Wars. Like, not just because it went woke and Disney fucked it up, but I'm done. Like, I don't care how good the game is. I won't buy another game. I won't play another game without my best friend, right? Paul played this one game. It's called, it's not The Force Unleashed. I can't remember. Outcast, I want to say. I think it's Outcast, Jedi Outcast. And Paul plays it and he's like, dude, this game is amazing. They didn't fuck with the lore. It's not woke. It's really, really good. And I'm like, yo, I will never play a game. Explain everything to him. Paul fucking bought me the game. He's like, now you have to play it. And I was like, you son of a bitch. So I ended up playing the game and it really was good. But he forced me kind of to get over, I don't know if you want to call it PTSD, or he forced me to actually like embrace Star Wars a little bit again. He's just a very solid dude. And he did it from the kindness of his heart. Yeah, David. David's a funny story. I've often said this. I pass away, the GAM mantle will go to David. He doesn't want it. He's flat out told me he doesn't want it. But in all things in video games or whatever, I so the whole thing is I like to think I'm all right at video games and pretty good and stuff. I'm actually really not. I'm so so. I'm right in the middle. I'm like not great and I'm not fucking dog shit either. If we're playing like a team game and David's on the same team as me and somebody talks shit to me, David's the first one to tell them to go fuck themselves. He's like, Gamma isn't that bad, blah, 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 and we'll go the hell off. And even when I do really bad, David will defend me. And I think it's fucking hysterical because David will then go and kick the shit out of the entire team by himself. But in all things, the whole thing is when we're playing online, it's Gammon Brit. Anytime I do a clan now or anything else, it's always Gammon Brit because if David's not with me on the game and beside me, I feel like it's almost like not having one of my hands and trying to play the game because I know I can rely on him and trust him to have my back now. He's replaced my best friend in that respect. You'll take the Fortnite account. Dude, how the fuck do you get your Fortnite account stolen? The fuck? How? How does that work? I mean, your password, unless you had a password breach or something. Yeah, not dude. That's awesome, Sheree. You even know what a tryhard is. Yeah, I'm more like my prime of video gaming is way past me. Like I'm still all right. I have to play for hours and hours and hours to just get what David will do in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I understand the character now. I know how to play them, but I had to play it for like 10 hours to be even a quarter as good as David or his other buddies. Because they're younger, they got that faster twitch action and going, and they were raised on different games. You know, this isn't two button Nintendo anymore. But yeah, same thing with David's buddy. His one buddy Johnny, it like anybody talks shit to me in a game, I swear he sticks up for me. And it's bad because it's to a point where Marvel Rivals that we've all been playing, I realized that my rank, I thought it was higher than it was. So yeah, I was like, oh shit, I'm not going to get the free skin at the end of the season, and ended up just random joining teams trying to, get my rank up. And people would quit. Like I had 5 games in a row where somebody, at least one person, had quit the game because they came out, they played terrible, and then were just like, oh fuck this, and quit. So my rank went down real far. Well, this mutual friend that David Actually, he's one of the guys who introduced me to David. Had put out a looking for group. I joined with him, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to get to this level." I'm like, "I'm just trying to get here. As soon as I hit here, I'm done. Like, I'm done with competitive." And while we're in the party waiting, this other kid jumped in, and it was another British kid. And out of nowhere, fucking the kid goes, "Wait a minute, you're Gam." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You're David's Gam." I was like, "What the fuck?" Yeah, that is very concerning, David. You're not wrong. That's very concerning if somebody got that fucking password. But yeah, I gotta say it was funny because you're David's Gam. I was like, "Is that what I'm known as?" He's like, "Dude, you're a man, a myth, a legend, blah blah blah." So I was like, I don't know what kind of shit Rebel, who was the kid I was playing with, or David have said about me when I'm not around, but they definitely said some shit because this kid reacted like he saw the second coming of Jesus for a minute there. I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, I'm not that important. Like, what are we talking about here? But yeah, it definitely. I'm happy. You know, the younger guys allow the old man to come in and play, and like David definitely makes sure to know I know I'm old. Nice, that's awesome, David. Hopefully you get that shit back because you, like I said, you had some first season skins on that account. Oh, blew that out. Yeah, you're not wrong. Yo, you're 100% right, David. It is about $3,000 in value that you have on that just that Fortnite account. Shit, I can't believe I just fucking did that. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this while it's still wet, but let's give it a shot. Cut it down a little too much. Let it dry out a little more before I finish fixing it. Actually, no, I can get more on. Oh yeah, like that's just it. Most of my skins in Fortnite, I think there's only one that I actually bought. The rest David bought me, and like just because we run around together or whatever on there. Like it's funny. I love playing with him and his one gay buddy Alex, and then he's got this one buddy who's like a total flamer, Alex, and then he's got this other buddy named Johnny Concrete. And Johnny Concrete's actually really cool. I had mentioned him before. Alex is actually really cool too. But the three of them will play in squad or whatever, and they're literally just making fun of each other and bullshitting the whole time, like, and just playing the game. And I'm like all on point and like having to focus and all this. Like, oh shit, there's a person over. Boom, they're already dead. Like, what? You already eliminated them? It's like shit. I got like 3 kills. You guys got like 40 kills each. What the fuck's going on here? Yeah, I don't blame you either, David. That's my buddy D. He had it where he told us too, and we thought he was full of shit. But he's like, "Yeah, I got my Microsoft account. I changed Xboxes, and I can't sign into my gamer tag." We're like, "Okay, well, what's your email address?" And he's like, I it's this at Microsoft.com. I'm like, that's impossible. Only Microsoft employees have a Microsoft account. Even my account is Hotmail, which is old and outdated. And he's like, no, man. He's like, I'm telling you, mine's Microsoft. Sure enough, his shit was Microsoft.com. They wanted his original credit card that he used to sign up for it. Unfortunately, he had gotten rid of that thing like 5 years prior. So he couldn't get his account back. He must have had at least $400 or $500 in rock band songs alone on that account. Yeah, that's crazy. Your Fortnite account got hacked. They saw mine. They're like, oh, there's nothing really of value here. Wow, with none of your security factors? Was it, dude, I'm going to have to ask this. Was it somebody that's in your country that probably shouldn't be who took it? Was it a guy over in India? Was it an American guy? Like, who the fuck did it to you? Do you know? Not a clue. You sure it isn't just like Alex or Johnny or one of those guys fucking with you? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I don't see either of them fucking with you that bad. See, I should be able to see Rick's tongue. Yeah, that's fucking insane. That is definitely bullshit insane. Ooh, I didn't realize Rick's mouth is two-factor red. All right, so yeah, I can see his fucking tongue. Damn it. Let's see, what color is that? Imperial. No. Yep. Yeah, I don't have your shit for Fortnite. I got your shit for I think Crunchyroll. I use it every day too. I've been watching all kinds of shit on there. Like all the new stuff that's coming up, I've been watching everything. Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's fine. Like, I mean, that's the whole thing. You know, I'm not going to fuck around and be like, oh, I'm going to order a bunch of stuff on your Crunchyroll account or something. You know, like I'm just going to watch my shows and be done with it. Yeah, there's no point in painting his mouth red like that. I thought it was flat. It's not. It his mouth is actually has depth to it, so it's going to look black no matter what I do. Let's try this again with the right color red. I'm not terribly worried about it because I got to do white on his lip. Well, actually, I got to go skin tone, then do white for his teeth. Then I got to hit the little bit of green drool on his chin. Oh, I think I got a little red blush in there. Oh my goodness. God damn, it's like 1:05 in the morning. I really did start this shit late, didn't I? I didn't even give this one a proper number, which now I might have to go back and redo it. 'Cause, yeah. Oh, thank God I'm not running to the fucking bathroom. We're puking. Still stuffed up though, like a mother. All right, let's see if I can't knock these teeth without fucking them up. Nope. First thing I did was hit his fucking tongue with it. Great. I think I think this little brush is about seen its last too. See if I can't get this fucking tongue back to red. There we go. Let's see. And if I'm looking at the picture of them, I gotta get that little green spot. Let's see. Need more of a. I think this succulent color might do it. This might be the color I'm looking for. Yep, I think that's got it. I'll definitely give it to the porcelain gods. Sheree, thank you for being awesome. Thank you for being the greatest mod on these YouTubes. And just remember, don't take shit from anybody. I'm going to finish up this base and then I'll be done too. I'm sure my buddy David here is probably bored. Looks like Alien just launched his stream. Jesus Christ, dude. I get Alien, I think, has been doing this thing where he's giving me a wide berth nowadays, which is nice of him. Let's go gunmetal gray. Gunmetal gray. We're going to use gunmetal gray for the base. I mean, check in with him, just say hi, bye, and like leave a like on his video, and Alien's fine. Like that boy kind of cracks me up. I'm not gonna lie. He's been playing that Pirates of the Caribbean game like crazy, and I kind of shake my head. I'm like, bro, play something faster pace or what have you, or something more relevant. You know, I get you like the game and all that, but sometimes you got to switch it up because he's trying to get monetized. So find the hottest game and then you rock and roll with that. There's a reason I don't stream me playing video games because I don't like watching other people play video games. Why would I when I can actually do it, you know? But yeah, get some rest, Sheree. Thank you again. Thank you for your concern too. I do appreciate the hell out of you. this should not take long to wrap up. So, David, did they end the rankings yet on Marvel, or what's going on with that? Like, I'm gonna see. Yeah, I know I'm gonna have to download an update soon. The season one of it looks like. So I'm gonna say season one looks like a David centric. Definitely looks like they were like, yeah, David Mon, yeah, what would he like in the way the characters look? He would like this. Okay, let's do that for an entire season. I was just like, holy shit. Yeah, and I think coming real soon here, I'm gonna start working on Toga for you. By the way, but for that, at different points in the stream, you're gonna have to check in because if I'm not painting something the way you want it painted, you've got to let me know so I can correct it on the spot. Like I plan on just painting her just pretty much straight up like the anime. But if something doesn't look right to you, you got to say like, "Yo, Gam, that looks like shit," or redo that face, or adjust this on the color on her eyes, her skirt, whatever. I was banging on about your toga. I still have to send Smurf his to his Conan. That full yellow everything. Yeah, I'm picturing Toga, and I like the yellowing in the eyes. Yeah, she's got like cat eyes. Her hair's blonde, which is kind of odd because she's Japanese, so I don't know how she got blonde hair, but okay. I didn't know if you wanted some kind of variation or you just want, anime character. Like anime schoolgirl, basically. God damn, dude, my fucking stomach is tore the fuck up. And my butthole hurts. Too much pooping. I need another paper towel. Can't believe how many views I got. Anime, okay, yeah. Because that's the other thing. When I was printing it out, they actually have an option for the manga head and the manga hair and the manga buns. And I thought about not gluing down anything, like maybe gluing the buns and the hair on the head after I paint it, and then leaving it where you could change out the head. And I was like, I don't think he's going to like that. Like the manga one looks weird to me. Damn, I didn't clean this fucking brush. I really need to set up this workstation better and stop being lazy. I got brushes rolling around, shit just thrown everywhere. And every time I go to fuck with it, I'm like, eh. What I need to do is I got to change out the FAP on my printer. I need to make a video on that for noobs. Never knew what that there was. The anime looks a little different from the manga. My poor puppy sitting there whining. Let me walk the dog real quick. Be right back, David. All right. Dog was a good dog. Almost done with this guy, and then call it a night. In the meantime, before I even finish with him, make it look like I give half a shit, you know? Um, let's rename the stream real quick. I don't know what the hell the deal is with that. Save that off. Let me see. What the fuck? Uh, see. I know you guys can't see what I'm doing. Must look like I'm just being an asshole. Seeing if I can just. Of course, it's not going to let me grab an image like super easy, is it? Oh, you can go fuck yourself. Somebody wants to fucking like charge for that file. You can kiss my ass. Kiss, 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 kiss my ass. I will find somebody who has done this animation for free. Cause that's some fucking pretty bullshit. That's some pretty bullshit right there. Of course not. They can never make this shit easy, can they? Close down that search. Let's see if I can do this on the fly. What the? Oh my god. I don't know what is going on with my mouse and shit tonight. But okay. Move you in right about here. Yep, that'll work. Lock you in. Boop. Something about that damn wireless mouse keyboard and being a certain distance away screws it all up. Like shit wasn't typing in, shit wasn't saving off, opening, closing, nothing. But at least I can make it look decent, I guess. Still debating on what color I'm going to do the actual words. Words, words, words. I think you're still in the chat, David, but I'll be getting on after probably for a few. I got to I got to eat. Well, try eating again. I got to put something in my fucking stomach, so I got something coming out because it's starting to hurt. Um, Fuck with the dog a little bit, but did they update? You got to look at Rivals and tell me if they updated it. All right, so we should have a shiny, nice, shiny base now. Oh, you got an account to level. Okay. Well, yeah, but that's just it. I'm not even going to fucking touch rank until the next season. Like, there's only like a couple hours left or something before that season ends. So I might as well cash in, get that fucking skin, and then start actually playing. I mean, I got to get a couple warm up games in to figure out who I'm hitting with and who I'm not. Some nights I'm killing it with like Squirrel Girl or the Punisher or whoever, Bucky, and then other nights I'm like just god awful with them and go more to the healing or tanking, like when I'm playing like dog shit. Um, we are going to go with fuck it. We are going to go silver. Oh, she got fucking a buff? Dude, you didn't need to buff Squirrel Girl. She's a fucking beast. Just a goddamn beast if you play her right. Like, I pick Iron Man's out of the sky the whole 9 yards with her. Like, she's a monster. So they buffed her on top of it. Like, that's that's crazy. Oh, her ultimate bounces towards. I've already got like all her whatever they are. I think they call them achievements on there. I got all her achievements already. Like 1K. I think it's get 1 KO with an assist from Spidey. Um, and then kill 3 people with that squirrel stampede. Yeah, it's actually super easy. if you're smart with how you play her. How much is the battle pass on it? $10 again, or five? Last time it was only $5, but I'm sure they probably increased it to 10, like everything else. Probably five. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look. I mean, I still have lattice left over. Did they add any cool extra costumes, like newer costumes? Or are they still just on the on oh god, what was it? What was the last set of costumes? Moon Knight, I think, was one. Squirrel Girl was the other. Yeah, it was Moon Knight and Squirrel Girl for like Chinese New Year or some shit. Like Year of the Dragon or whatever the fuck they're going into. I don't know if I like the silver on here, but it works, so fuck it. Getting like a pretty good finish. Trying to bang it out without blowing it out is a pain. Tell you what. I'll tell you what. Yeah, yeah. Oh. Yeah, unfortunately, I popped this rock star, so I'll definitely be up for a minute after I'm done this. But he's almost done. Is Rebel playing? Didn't even look, did you? Was he like really bad when you played with him, or because you were saying like you were shocked that I got back to gold playing with him? I mean, I was basically like mainlining Cloak and Dagger at that point, so as long as you don't die as Cloak and Dagger, you can keep damn near anybody alive with her. As long as you time out her heals correctly. As long as somebody doesn't run in there like they're immortal. He's bronze. How the hell do you get the bronze? I didn't even start off at bronze, and I'm not that great at it. Like, how is that even possible? Like, Nuke was at like gold one, I think, when the two of us were playing together. I got like I quit out at gold three. He got the gold one though, so must be doing something right. I was watching some dude either yesterday or earlier today, and he basically like he's a fat, sweaty neckbeard, but he watches tournament matches and then nails out the cheaters for like Overwatch. And he's like, yeah, I got sent this clip or sent this thing where I can look at the replay, and this guy supposedly was cheating at Rivals. Let's see what we've got. And man, it was fucking blatant, like how bad this dude was cheating. Like he was like trying to shoot guys through walls, buses, stuff like that. He played the Punisher. It was like every shot was a fucking headshot. It was unreal. Wow, really? I was at least when Overwatch first came out, I played the shit out of it and I was platinum. But then as they started making the changes to the characters, I stopped playing as much. Like I quit right after, and I actually wasn't bad with her, but when Umbra came out, that was basically about the time I quit playing. And then you and I tried playing, and I was like, oh, I'm dog shit at this now. I was like, I can't even play Reaper. Like, what's going on? You're like, yeah, they changed Reaper and how he plays, and they renamed McCree to some gay ass name. They just fucked it all up, as one does. But I heard like the Overwatch community is pissed off about Marvel Rivals because they're already adding like Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman and all that stuff. And they're like, Overwatch basically, they barely add characters or barely come up with new shit. I think we're good. Just fix a minor blowout here. Some reason, right on this R and this L, I'm screwing up all over the place. There we go. One Rick Sanchez done. See how he looks? Oh, there's a Noctane everywhere. Let's see. Pick him up, do the old show off. Peace among worlds. Giving you the old double birds. And this guy actually doesn't have a home. I did this one for me, I think. Starts in 18 minutes. Oh shit, that's time enough for me to walk the dog, eat my dinner, smoke smoke my pipe, and literally a tobacco pipe. Nothing funny going in it. I started smoking a pipe, David, like I'm fucking Sherlock Holmes. As David would say, old man Gam. Yeah, there's probably gonna. Well, I'm not gonna lie at all. I'm actually super impressed with how well the developer has done this game. Like it doesn't play like a glitchy we rush this shit out game. It plays like a kind of polished game. You know, every motherfucker is going to be rushing to play Invisible Woman and Reed Richards too, right off the rip, right? And apparently there are special challenges for them. So could be interesting. Oh, by the way, I pulled off the Easter egg for Citadel de Mort solo finally. I mean, I did it once in directed mode, but then I did it once in standard on my own too. I still don't know how you knock out that Raven step so fast, though. It's one of my biggest pains in the asses. Yeah, but without your help, I never would have gotten the special calling card or whatever the fuck they had for that game. Here's my new smoking pipe, David. Old man GAM and his smoking pipe, sitting on the front porch, puffing away in my rocking chair with my dog by my side. I can't blame everything on Alex. I know Alex won't come play Marvel Rivals with us unless they put Kamala Khan in the game. Then he'll be like signed up and like trying to date her. I don't know. I do like giving like you, Paul, like actually everybody shout outs too. Like super shout out to Sheree again. That was awesome. Like I'm down and out for a little while, and everybody like, what the fuck? Where's Gam? Like, oh shit. I mean, these guys would have hated me in the days of Atlas where I was like on that game for all but like an hour or two, and that was just for sleep. My buddy Six disappeared too. I wonder when he's going to put out his next drum video. All right. Let me shut this down. Go grab my food, walk the dog, finish smoking this here pipe. I appreciate everybody who watched and tuned in. Sorry it was kind of a rush job. Sorry for being late. Um, Trying to recover, like I said. My guts were, well, it wasn't pleasant. The poor toilet, I think I might have shattered porcelain or melted through it. I'm not sure. But I do appreciate everybody watching. Try and have a good week. Everybody enjoy themselves and have a good night. And just remember, until next time, don't take shit from anyone. Good night.